I promised you a gold making slash PvP best in slot crafting kind of guide, and I hope that you'll find it useful. As always, I'll be going straight to the point, so let's get started. First and foremost, you need to find a way to play the game that is enjoyable to you. Making golds or getting BIS gear surely is the end goal for a lot of players, but it shouldn't be discouraging you from playing the game the way you want. My goal this season was to only focus on PvP in both open world and OPR. That's all I did. As you can see here, I have a decent amount of kills in both OPR and open world. Not that that's what I was grinding, but it naturally climbed up as I was testing as many builds as possible. But keep in mind, I have played this game since launch for over 4,000 hours. As a solo player, my focus was to make golds as much as possible doing crafting and gathering when I first started playing. That's what I did for the first few months. At the time, gold was much easier to make. As an example, I was among the first few people to sell high-tier tools during the first week of the game. Star metal tools were going for thousands of golds. So during Season 3, I've only been spending golds. I will focus on restocking during Season 4, and I will show you how. I always start my day in the morning buying a chromatic seal and a Writ of Adventure specifically at the moment, because I'm going to experiment on the stone form rune in a bit. After that, I go to the armoring crafting station, put my armorer gear on it, eat the soup. What you need is level 250 in armoring. Make it a priority. Make sure you have your trophies on. Make sure the buff is activated in a town where you own a house, or make sure you have the global buff from Morningdale's fort. Let's look at the price and get some. So you can see here, the price is pretty low. Historically, it has been a lot higher. The reason for it is that crafting has been kind of expansive and on cooldown this season, so people crafted a lot less. Therefore, price of mats has gone down. But this will change in Season 4. Crafting will be made even easier for people to craft gear, so the price of mats will go up in general. So let's buy a few and check the buy orders price. Not enough of a marge. Not worth it yet, really. However, let's check the Totem of Lightnings. $2,300 golds. It is a lot. Back a few weeks ago, I bought a bunch of them at an expansive cost, but still much lower than this. 500 per unity, because I knew that the bow artifact would make people gear up for it. Plus, I'm assuming that a few people have been watching my builds that are based on lightning damage for a while, even before the Boltcaster was announced. So it's a safe bet for me. If the price holds steady, it's a solid 120k worth of golds just with that. But I have a feeling that the price might even go higher tomorrow. Anyway, this is how I have been making golds for a while now. No more gathering or crafting and selling, just investments. That is why you need to be able to get a decent pull of golds by any means, and I'll come to that later. Start small and snowball. So let's see what I need. These days I'm working on a great axe, great sword behemoth build, and I need a chest with a gravity well perk. All the mats that I need are in Ebon scale for crafting, so the only thing that I need to buy to craft is the chromatic seal. Seems like I don't have the craft mod. Pretty sure that's because it's an expansive one. I'm a bow player. I was never crafting great axes, so selling these craft mods has been a huge source of income for me. You'll see why. When I craft gear, I always go this way. One craft mode should be the perk you want to play. Second craft mod should be the elemental damage you want to go with. In this case, lightning damage. Doing so, you're giving yourself a chance to get a universal perk on the random proc, which can be health or refreshing ward in the best case scenario, or vigor, freedom, invigorated that are not as good but still usable. Here, we got Grit Ward. Kinda sucks, but I can still make use of it. This is not Abyss, but this is a decent piece of gear. We'll certainly use it. Let's go and put a rune glass on it. Leeching is what I like to go for when I play Great Axe or Hatchet. I'm missing some charged sand, gift glyphs, and ancient globes. I can craft some. All my gems and rune glass business is happening in Cutlass Key. Put on the stone armor gear set. Ancient globs you need to buy. Farming it is a pain. I need 3 for now. Pretty decent price in comparison to what it used to be. I'm gonna buy some. People are going to craft more. The demand for rune glass will go up. The prices will go up. Same for the glyphs. Now that it's done, let's take a look at the full set. It's pretty decent. Does the job. This one build will be called the Behemoth. I'll drop a montage of it pretty soon. The reason why I said earlier that you need to play the game in a way that's enjoyable is because you see, I'm not trying to chase after pieces of gear that are considered meta. I'm looking for decent gear. The meta changes constantly, and there are many possibilities of builds that are still unexplored, as the game is still in its early stage. That's why I prefer to sell the expansive craft modes, and use that gold to create more builds and more ways to have fun. What I have been doing since the beginning is only sell expansive stuff. Keep and stockpile the cheap items, because there are always new patches and balance changes made to the economy and the gameplay, which always ends up having an impact on the market. Find your own niche. Take a look at the prices frequently and try to think in terms of what people are going to need the most in the game in the upcoming 2 months. Here, let's buy a bunch of sandstones. I'm gonna use it a lot. 1,000 should do it. Then what I do is I look through the stuff I have in each town. Bunch of crap most of the time. But you can sell some gear you know you won't use. Rune glass is always a good business. I don't sell under a certain amount. The price fluctuates a lot depending on the trends. You saw earlier that I sold nature rune glass for 8,000 each. Here's another expansive craft mode. I'd rather sell it. Too cheap. Here is a good example. These are way underpriced. I will just buy it and put it back at their real value. If you want to make money, you need to be able to sell at a good price the product that you've worked hard for. Rune glass case of igniting. I know I'm not going to use it. Price is decent. Let's sell. Arboreal rune glass. Too cheap. I'll hold on to that for now. Selling these is how I made the most golds recently. So you keep looking through your storage and sell expansive items while collecting cheap items. Pretty simple. Now, Here is how you do if you have no golds and you need an influx of cash. This is Brimstone Sand, my refinement center for ores and leather. Get to the trader and look at the prices. Brimstone has been my business hub for a long time. I own a shop here, so I have a lot of space. I suggest you find a town and do the same. Get good tools and find the best location for materials that are in the highest demand. Usually I go for ores and leather, then refine and produce. Make sure you have the refining yield bonus from Weaver's Fens Fort. Try to refine as much as possible, but keep an eye on what's worth more at the trader at the same time. Let's just make some prismatic ingots and sell them. It took me 10 minutes to farm the raw mats for it. You could also choose to sell raw, but I don't find it as rewarding. The loop gathering, refining, and selling will get you a lot of golds if you start from nothing and are gathering often. This is always the best way to make profit, even if it is a small one. Just do these little things here and there and you'll make some golds without even thinking about it too much. Another way that you can make some golds easily is by simply doing the season pass, especially if you have the premium. There are some decent rewards that will help you keep a good flow during the season. Once again, the goal is to not having to stress too much about doing annoying things in the game in order to make golds and get best in slot gear. The goal is to create a system that allows you to do the things you enjoy in the game while keeping a steady gold growth, which ultimately leads to you having more options in the game and more fun. And at last, the PvP track rewards often give you the option to trade a pile of coins in exchange for salt. I always pick that option. It pays for the pots and honing stones. Now let's see how this build performs.